DC Fandome Hall of Heroes.
Welcome, fellow gear pothead, Joe Pop Puttyman here. Today we are doing a podcast. It's the podcast with the two nerdy guys that you saw, well, actually in the last one or any other ones you might have seen. But again, you guys know. Anyway, we're here to talk about DC Fandome. I love how I had to say dome instead of dumb. And I am here with, I'm going to call it the two Johns, because we actually have two Johns here, but we're going to go by their whatever they might want to be called by. I know we got Campo, and then we have John, which I don't know, John, what you might like to be called with your channel or with your account. But anyway, we're going to be talking about DC and fandom. And we're going to go in and, see, I knew you'd start laughing. So
I've moved from Studio B to Studio A. It's a giant upgrade. I also wasn't planning on matching the wall, but apparently I do.
You went all out for my. I appreciate you, John, going all out for my podcast, bro. It just so much. It means so much, you know.
You're a sweet guy.
So today, first and foremost, I'm going to be linking to another podcast where we actually talked about DC Fandome. Dome. I don't want to say dumb, but so yeah, you're dumb. Anyway, so we're going to link to that. Now, to this one, we are going to go over some of the stuff we went over there. I'm going to try to jump away from the movies at the moment and leave that last, since we have some other things that weren't talked about. So some of the things that were covered when it comes to DC Fandome is the movies, the video games, and the television series. So I figured, since I feel like the television series might get a lot of discussion, let's start on something that might not get as much, because a lot of people aren't too familiar. But my channel is perfect for it anyway, because it's Gamer Potheads. We're going to talk about the games. So they premiered two games at DC Fandome, which is Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. Now, you know, depending on which one you like, they both have that same feel of the Arkham series, and they both look like phenomenal games. I know for each of us might have a different opinion, but let's start before I get in, because I can talk forever. Let's go ahead and let the other two guys chime in and see what you guys think. Like, which game was your favorite, and what was a highlight for you in that situation? Anyone
Wait, want to go first, Campo?
Your shirt is so good. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll go first. I love the Batman games because they've been amazing, except for the last one wasn't too great. I think this one, I like Suicide Squad better. If that's the question, I think the what's it called?
It's called Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
I think that looks really cool. I really liked what you gave us. I would have liked to see some gameplay, but I'm okay with that. The gameplay we saw from the other title, that's Arkham Knights. Is that what it's called?
No, it's called Gotham Knights.
Gotham Knights. I mean, yeah. I don't think it looks bad. I actually think it looks really good. I can't wait to play it. But it's so similar to the other games still. So I don't feel like the Suicide Squad feels like a complete going in another direction. You know what I mean? And I'm cool with it. Pretty cool with it.
Well, what about you, John? How did you feel about it?
You're not gonna like my take. I have a feeling you have two games. And 3, I'll bring in the Marvel's Avengers that comes out in like a few weeks.
I already got it pre-ordered. Go ahead.
You have all 3 games that are pretty much going to be the exact same loot 'em, grind 'em, level up kind of games. Why they would go in this route, I have no idea. If I had to choose one out of those 2, though, I would agree on the Suicide Squad one. Only because I haven't seen any gameplay, so I'll go on that route. The Gotham Knights one looks a little current gen instead of next gen.
I definitely agree.
If I'm looking at that, but I don't know. I mean, I like the Arkham games for Batman. The fact that Batman is in none of those just really like bums me out. But I get what people are saying, that, you know, you need to step away from Batman, and I get that, but there needs to be that option to have Batman in the game as I don't want to say, like an option to have him in the game, not
Agreed.
Just like he's dead. Just, you know, and the Court of Owls, like Batman's a major part of the Court of Owls.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
That was the one thing I saw with the Court of Owls. I was excited, but then I will admit I did put together like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense. But I have to agree. I think we all agree, and we all fluidly say Suicide Squad's the one, or Suicide Squad's the one that's actually to beat. Here's the thing: when it comes to the Arkham series, outside of what they really tried to do with the last Arkham, even though I kind of felt like it failed, some people liked it just because of the Batmobile. But my situation is I was there when Arkham, Arkham Asylum and Arkham City and all those came out, and then what happened is just like I think you can point out to it, John, that the situation is you can't have a Batman game without having Batman, but at the same time we're getting a saturation where they're trying to compete with other companies that are doing what Batman did best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we're in a situation where it's like, okay, we're getting the same thing, we need something different, which I feel in the Batman series though is kind of hard because you got to think everything you could do in the old Arkham games is pretty much what you would expect out of a Batman game. So when it comes to Suicide Squad, what really made me like that was that we're going at a different option where we're attacking the Justice League. And that's sensitive territory for a lot of fans. You know what I mean? Like we saw Superman, but if they're going after the Justice League, that means we're going to see Harley Quinn beat up Batman possibly. And for some people that might be heartache, I can look past that and go, that's actually going to be kind of fun. You know what I mean?
I don't
Just
care.
be the bad guy. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun to be the bad guy and beat up the good guys just for a change. And I feel like that's the only thing that's going to bring this. But based on it being, Rocksteady and things of that nature, I think it's going to still be an Arkham game with the style of Suicide Squad and Metropolis. You know what I mean? Because we both saw that we saw who Superman destroyed in the background. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And see, in that situation, it clearly means that we may have something where maybe the good guys have gone bad. I don't know what the situation is. They're very cryptic about why this is happening. Because remember, they sent them out to kill somebody. Like, who's the person they're attacking? And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, I think it's him. That was kind of a laughing moment for me. And when I realized, oh, okay, they're going after the Justice League. But then I was like, well, okay. First and foremost, I don't know how the four of those are going to actually take Superman down unless they do find some source of kryptonite. You know what I mean? That's the first and foremost they have to. You know what I mean? And at the same time, I already could see a flaw in the story. If Superman's bad, he could have just fucking killed him right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There shouldn't have been any more to that story. Like, all right, they're dead. Like, really? Because there's nothing there. Like, he literally could have just killed him right there.
I get, okay. At first, I was like, this guy's special. But then I get what you mean because, like, he could have just killed them all right there.
Yeah, exactly.
But
them gone.
That's it. It looks good. I think the graphics, I know that's video graphics, but like it looked really good, like amazing. I really don't like whoever does Harley's voice for that though.
Yeah.
It sounds like she's doing like an anime, like high school girl's voice.
But I am glad though is that it's a next gen game. PS5, Xbox One X, and PC.
Yeah.
I love how they just said it's a next gen game. And
it looks
good.
next gen.
Yeah.
So, like it legit looks good.
Well,
But I do have this thing that I'm gonna pop in here real quick.
Yeah.
I do think, and I'm just going off as a theory, I do think that if they're gonna make the Justice League playable, I don't know how, but they might split it as you get to play as the Suicide Squad and the Justice League.
So you get to do evil things as the Justice League, maybe?
It could be a possibility. I mean,
that could be cool.
That would be cool, yeah.
Well, why not? I mean, you have to find out why Superman's like the way he is anyway.
I mean, I like that idea, to be honest with you. I think that's a really good idea.
And you have Metropolis. Metropolis is a huge city. And Rocksteady is known for making these epic worlds. And with the technology that we have now for world building, I mean, they can really do a lot with Metropolis.
Well, that's another thing, too. Again, that might be something they're setting up for a sequel, but a lot of people don't realize this.
You're talking about sequels? The game didn't even come out yet.
Well, no. But what I'm saying is, even if they don't do that, that's what I'm saying. If they don't do that, that's something they could open up. That could be opened up for a sequel. My whole point to the thing is there's a lot of things that people are like, oh, Superman went bad. This isn't the first time Superman's gone bad.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? And so it's not that big of a surprise. I think the more bigger surprise is that they're the ones that are going to take down Superman, which is, It's like throwing a baby at Batista. There's no chance that baby's gonna win.
Yeah, or they're gonna like run into Enchantress at some point, and you're gonna use magic to stop him.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, enough games.
Okay.
I came here for the movies.
Well, before we get into the movies, we did have 2 television series. Now here's the thing.
TV's like a movie, but on a small screen.
Well, that's why we're getting through it quickly. Now here's the thing. I'm not actually. I'm gonna say this. I unfortunately, because of saturation, I haven't been able to delve into the TV series. So I got a lot of things that already happened that have spoiled to me. But because of what they've shown, I'm going to be very honest with you. I haven't kept up with the Flash. I haven't watched Titans. But because of what they show me, I legitimately want to watch these now. Seeing the multiverse of the Flash movie in the Flash series, and then seeing that I didn't know that they made the Titan series and Nightwing was it. I love Nightwing in the comics and everything, and I can't believe they actually played him in the series. And so I'm not familiar with
when
the
he
show.
gets the suit.
Oh yeah. So you guys are already hyping me up. I haven't seen it.
You have a lot to watch.
Listen,
I know that's the problem. That's the problem is because I miss so much.
Yeah.
That it's so hard to go back. It's like it's when people say you need to go watch a series. Well, yeah, you watched it from the beginning, just like I have with other series. And when I tell people go watch this, they're like, oh, it's a little overwhelming to go back and go and see they're all.
No, I get it.
Yeah, because see,
there's a lot now.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, I actually was there for Smallville. I was there for when the Arrow first started. I was there, to when all that stuff started expanding. But then I started losing it because it started getting big, and because I have Marvel as well. I have all this other stuff. I got gaming. It's like this oversaturation. But then it's like they showed me this the little they showed at Fandom. I go, well, crap, I want to watch it, and now I want it so badly just because I haven't seen it. You know what I mean?
So. I'll tell you right now, yesterday in your stream, it's funny, a lot of people were hating on Titans, and to me, that's the best show that DC is doing right now. Take that how you want, but I'm so hyped to see Red Hood. I do like Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol Season 1 is probably maybe the best single season of a DC show. Like, not 100%, but like, I watch it currently, but Season 2, so like what I'm at in Season 2, it's not as good as Season 1. Titan Season 2 ended really good. I'm like excited to see where it goes. I really like Supergirl because it embraces the goofiness of superheroes kind of, and I don't feel like everyone understands that about it. I know John does, but
yeah.
Like Flash went downhill big time. I can't even watch it anymore. I don't know if the new seasons might be better, but I jumped off. Green Arrow was pretty good. That ended though. And then what's the others one? I've never watched the Legends of Tomorrow. Stargirl I heard is good. People are telling me it's good.
Stargirl and Legends of Tomorrow.
I've never seen Legends and I've never seen Stargirl, but people are telling me Stargirl is a good show.
Well, Legends is funny. Legends has its they capitalize on it being funny but making it enjoyable.
It kind of looks like Doctor Who.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Like where every episode's a different place and a different thing. Yeah,
well, I was gonna say I know they call it Arrowverse. The only thing is I can't really jump into the whole Arrowverse. I will say that I did binge watch, and I call it the whole series, even though they're saying there could be talks of a season 2. But I did binge watch and actually purchased the Blu-ray for Watchmen, and I thought it was phenomenal. I don't know if you guys have seen it or not, but I thought it was an amazing series that took a different approach to Watchmen, even though it did take a lot of liberties and changes.
I haven't. It's on my list.
Yeah, you definitely need to.
If you know me at all by now, it's such a struggle for me to watch dramatic TV series. Well, like I cannot stand slow-paced dramas. Like I'd rather watch a comedy any day of the week than a dramatic show. Like it's just hard for me to like get into the mindset of watching it. But I do really want to see it. Everyone says Watchmen is amazing. And the creators said there's no way they're making a season 2, but apparently HBO is trying to push for a season 2.
I guess there's no concurrent script to make a season 2. Or
it was,
where to go with it.
They wanted it to end after season 1.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't hear from you, John. What did you think of it? Did you like Watchmen or?
I thought it was pretty slow at the beginning. Mm-hmm. It kind of picks up towards the end, but at the beginning it's a little bit of a slow burn. But as you watch and you learn more about the story and where certain characters are.
Yeah, exactly.
It starts to make sense. but it does take a while for it to build up to where it gets to the end.
But how did you feel? Because that personally yourself, I read the original original Watchmen graphic novel, aka the comic book and everything, when there was actually issues and everything. What did you yourself, or like at least maybe comparatively to the movie, did you enjoy it though, as far as what they made the changes from? Without getting too much spoiler, because I know Campo here has seen it.
I thought the movie was boring.
Oh, really?
Sorry, Zack Snyder. I'm sorry, but I love the changes that they made. I prefer the series over the movie. Although there's some parts of the movie that I liked.
Yeah.
But my favorite part about the series was Jeremy Irons.
Oh my God,
arc of his was amazing.
Wow, spoilers.
It doesn't spoil anything. I guarantee you it doesn't. Yeah.
I'm joking.
just his whole story arc just drawing me into the show.
Yeah.
Just to even keep going. I think that if he wasn't in the show, I think I would have popped off a while ago.
Really?
Well, this is almost a good segue here because I'm not saying we change it, but I like, to me, I'm just going to talk about this. To me, Watchmen is easily Zack Snyder's best movie. And I say that lightly because I absolutely do not like you. And I don't know. It is slow, and I definitely agree with that. But the source material was so good that he couldn't fail with it. And I think that I'm really, having read the comics, having seen the movie, having seen the visual comic, which is pretty all right.
Yeah.
Watching, I'm excited to watch it, but it's like really hard for me to do it. I would really like an animated Watchmen thing, like a rated R.
That'd be nice.
Like animated series. I think that would be really cool.
Well, speaking of Zack Snyder, I guess that's a good segue into the movies of Fandom. And I hear Campo over there going crazy, even though I actually have a different opinion. So before we get into this, we did cover over on RLG2 Wonder Woman 1984, the Batman, and the Suicide Squad. We're going to get into those, but let's go ahead and go away from those and get into the series they did talk about outside of those. So first and foremost, since we're talking about it, let's talk about the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Now, I personally hated the idea of this from the beginning until I saw at DC Fandome. And honestly, I'm excited to see the villain change hands, which looks like that's what they're doing, as the original Snyder Cut had a different villain, which was the villain I wanted. I'm not going to say, in case people don't know, I don't want to spoil it. Well, the trailer kind of does. Anyway, what am I talking about? But anyway, my point is, I'm excited about it. But anyway,
light your torches and get your signs ready here.
Ooh,
greasy fanboys. I'm so opposed to this happening for the reason that if this already existed, okay, I wouldn't be upset. Like how we got the rated R version of Suicide Squad, which was better. How we got the extended rated R version of BVS, which was better. I'm okay with that. This movie did not exist. I don't care what anybody says. Zack Snyder is a liar. This movie was made after the fact with like little bits and pieces. He's pandering to the fans to get them back on his side. And that's how I see it. And it's not, I don't care if the movie, the trailer looked fine. But the thing that the biggest takeaway I had from it was you showed us the same things with a couple little extra sentences like that we didn't hear before. You changed the color palette and you gave it your normal Zack Snyder. Everything was in slow motion. Everything was like a dramatic song playing in the background. And it's like, I'm excited to see it. Don't get me wrong, because I love DC. But in my opinion, the problem with all of the movies that came before this was him. And I don't think this is going to be much better than the Justice League we got. It's going to be better. I'm already telling you now, but I don't think it's going to be that much better. And I'm done.
Hi, John. You want to chime in or?
Okay. Justice League 1 or Justice League, I'll say it sucked. Yeah. It sucked. I mean,
I kind of liked it.
There's things to like about it, and then there's things that, shouldn't have been in there. But
yeah.
Like mustaches?
Like the mustache. Whoever thought that was a good idea, I don't know.
Why can't Superman have a mustache?
It was just a tribute to Romero's original Batman, if you remember that. So anyway, let's go. Remember Joker? Joker had a mustache.
Yeah, okay, I'm cool with it. But give him a mustache. Like,
yeah.
he can have facial hair. Like, what is this?
Yeah, but don't CGI it.
Yeah, you could have I would have just let him have the mustache and be like, Superman has
Again,
a mustache right now.
They should have just got flesh makeup and just like in the old Batman hair, just put it on over.
Oh
it'll
my
work.
God. Okay, wait, John, tell me what you're gonna say because I got away into mustaches.
Okay. I have a feeling that this movie is it's gonna outperform the Justice League. This should have been what it should have been to begin with. I mean, to have Doomsday or not Doomsday. I forget his name. Darkseid. There you go.
Yeah.
To have Darkseid in the movie, like that's what people wanted. That's what I wanted. I mean, like how it went about. It was like, what is this?
I really hope though that he's not the main villain. I hope it still stays with whatever his name is.
It was Steppenwolf, but that's
because like you can't beat Darkseid in the first Justice League movie. He's the main boss of all of DC.
But that's the reason why, if you look at the trailer, it looks like the whole thing was supposed to be set up like maybe they make a second Justice League. Because if you look, it even looks like Superman's in peril.
It was originally supposed to be part 1 and 2.
Yeah, and see, here's the thing, and that's probably why they're doing a 4-hour thing, because they're just putting everything together. But that's what made me mad, was because when we saw the hints, remember when Batman had the Flash, or had the hints, or whatever you wanted, when the Flash was actually giving him hints about the future, and you saw Batman fighting, that they showed Darkseid's symbol there, you know what I mean? And it was like, okay, that's what I was expecting. Because the thing is, you even accidentally said Doomsday, and that was my problem with Batman vs. Superman. Everything about Batman vs. Superman felt like it could be good, outside of Lex Luthor, which I see what they were trying to do with that, actually, to be honest with you. But the whole Doomsday thing, that's what killed me, because you're throwing in the Doomsday thing during Batman vs. Superman. That should have been a whole other story of the death of Superman, just like in the comic book. Yeah. That should not have been something that they
big issue with that movie, too, that a lot of people just get mad and fanboy about is there's, in the end of that movie, if you really are paying attention, there isn't an actual story.
Yeah.
It's just like, we're going to talk about a bunch of random stuff just so you could see Batman fight Superman, and then, all of a sudden we're best friends, let's fight Doomsday.
But see, there's another thing that again, and this is me comparing another franchise with another franchise, but I've got to say this right now, okay? When it comes to DC, I feel like they're riding on the Zack Snyder thing, but then they're always like, oh, we got to dip in and do this. You got to have this. And it's like, okay, we understand, but you got to keep it coherent to everything else if you're going to do the same thing the MCU is doing. And that's why it's always good to have a Kevin Feige on hand, their own version of it. You know what I mean? If it is Zack Snyder, then let him take the helm and let him say, hey, when they're talking to these directors, you got to have something that's introducing this and be coherent to the story, but you can still keep it your own story. That's the problem. There's so much shoved into these movies when it comes to DC, and I love DC, but you have to also keep one thing in mind. You have way more powerful characters on the other spectrum when it comes to DC. You know what I mean? DC has powerful characters like Wonder Woman, Superman.
They have the bigger characters.
Exactly. But then you have the down-to-earth Batman characters. So you're not, the middle ground is kind of hard to hit when it comes to DC. So you have to be able to handle that with very much a grace when it comes to making a cinematic universe. And that is what I feel DC is messing up on, is they want to get in the same boat as Marvel, and they're trying to skip ahead so much. But you notice when they stop and take a breath, in my eyes, Aquaman and Shazam were great movies. A lot of people don't like Aquaman. I liked Aquaman.
I really like Aquaman.
I've heard people say they like it. Yeah, I've heard people say they don't like Aquaman, and that's still
crazy.
Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Shazam, these are great movies that when they stand alone and did their own thing,
I think
mixed in there, they were good.
All of those movies are good. Even Birds of Prey, like we had this talk already, but I'm going to give it enough credit that I don't think it was a failure. Like compared to when you look at the original cut of BVS and the original cut of Suicide Squad, it's not nearly as bad as those movies. Right. And those movies' failures rest upon the shoulders of Zack Snyder. And this is not just for me I'm not calling him out with this, but even Man of Steel, there's no real direction of the movie. It doesn't even know where it's going. It's kind of like, we're just going to copy Superman 2 and then it's just going to be a little bit darker, but he's not really going to have a backstory. We're just going to quickly glance over that his dad tried to save a dog, and like there's just so much there. He doesn't understand how to tell a story directionally. Well, and I don't think if you let him make Justice League the way he wanted to before, it would have worked. I think he has good ideas, but I don't think he executes. I think now he has a better chance of executing because he's had so much time to hear what the fans didn't like, what the fans want. He had so much time to plan this that you can't possibly fail. If this movie is bad, if this movie's equally on the level of the last Justice League, then just get rid of him forever, forever, forever.
But this is why I want to chime in and say this. Here's the thing. I think DC started to realize their mistakes. And they said, okay, we need to kind of sit down and think about what we have, what we've done, and you know what, maybe capitalize on what's good. Because here's the thing. When you have movies like the Joker, or even Christopher Nolan's Batman universe, or let's just say the original, the first two Batman movies, Batman and Batman Returns, you have phenomenal movies that for their time were good, and they knew when it came to this, they said, okay, we screwed up, but we do have one thing that does go good with us, is we have a multiverse. We have a whole universe of other characters from other areas. I see that's where they're going with it. So in my eyes, I think they're doing good with that. But what they need to do is, if they're going to do this, they need to say, okay, we need to sit down and see how this is going to coherently work, and don't rush it. Hint, set it up, make it look good, so that way when they do go those other universes, we have an old version of Michael Keaton's Batman that may be retired, and maybe even he's taken on a new
So this might be a good segue here, but just quickly, I would prefer that all of the movies we got were short, and like it doesn't matter the length. If they were just story based and had a story, I wouldn't care about the big fight scenes, because I'd rather develop where we're going, and that's the problem. They were all about, let's watch big blowy uppies. We might as well let Michael Bay direct.
But that's what I think they're trying to fix now. Is they're saying, okay, what we can do is make good movies, but at the same time, especially with the Flash, I feel like the Flash, what they might be doing, if it turns out good,
because they're saying
the Flash movie, what they might be setting up for that is saying, listen, if we do this correctly and we get all these other actors from old roles to where they could even set up a Batman Beyond movie with Michael Keaton as the older Batman.
But listen, that's what we all want. Why would you even mention that? This is going to take us into a deep hole. He's about to cry.
See, now, I mentioned this the other day. Not the other day, but I mentioned this in the stream, or someone else mentioned the stream, and someone else said they would rather have Christian Bale as the older Batman. You know what I mean?
No, I wouldn't mind if you ran into him at some point of your weird journey here.
Right, but that's my whole point. That's my whole point. I think that's where they're trying to fix it. Is they're trying to do the multi-universe and then set up the ones that, like, okay, these are good actors for this Batman or this Superman, so on and so forth. Let's have them be the ones that set up the Justice League as a whole. And again, they could set it up for other comic book series that came out, with all the other infinite areas or all the other battles and everything. I can't think of the name of the series. I'm going to say Infinite Earth.
Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't think of the first part of them. I feel like that's what they could do if they do it intelligently. But the problem is they don't have one person that basically watches over the whole thing. And that's where I think is going to make it bad. So if they do have that person and we just don't know about it, then it's potentially good. I'm up in the air. There's a lot of movies. They talk about Black Adam. We also still have.
Okay, well let's talk about some of those.
Okay, so for example, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods, and Black Adam.
Shazam.
Sorry, Shazam. Fury of the Gods.
Shazam, cocaine in a can.
Right, exactly. I know they also talked about Aquaman, but they talked about like the old Aquaman movie. I felt like more than anything else. So when it comes to those and everything, again, I think they might be set up a good universe. What was the highlights in those situations for you guys? Or I mean, again, I've already been talking too much. Kind of drop your opinion on what you think.
I'll let him go.
Okay.
I didn't see too much of the Shazam because of the whole streams getting cut off kind of thing, but. The direction that they're going to go in with the Shazam Fury of the Gods, I mean, is Black Adam going to be in it? Are we going to have Superman in it? Right. Are we going to have any older characters in this movie? There's so much to.
I would like to see Superman in it.
Yeah, I would too.
Only because he was in the first one. It'd be fitting to have him in a second.
There's also a really, really good DC short. Well, I don't know if they're called shorts, but it was Superman Shazam, and they fight Black Adam, and it's awesome.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got the
Superman versus Black Adam. I think
that's awesome. Shazam, I didn't really get anything out of. It's whatever. To be honest with you, I'm probably the only person. Actually, everyone I went with, I'm not gonna lie to you, to watch the movie. When we left, we were all like, it wasn't bad. Like, it's a good movie. I'll definitely say it's one of the better ones, but it was not like everyone was hyping it up like it was crazy. It ended like Scooby-Doo.
But you have to kind
What
of.
the hell was that? It was like Scooby-Doo 2. I was waiting for Sarah Michelle Gellar to come out of like a box.
But you have to understand that Shazam is that. You gotta understand.
Yeah, but that's not what I want.
But you have to understand that this is also.
I don't have to understand.
Hey, Campo, you have to remember one thing. When it comes down to it, they're still selling the kids. And this character's a prime, you know, for toys and everything. Like it was a perfect setup to have that because it's a kid turning into a superhero. What kid does not want to have that dream come true? You know what I mean? So it was definitely that was their target audience. It wasn't for us. And when I went in knowing that was a target audience, I enjoyed the heck out of it.
Yeah, you have to know that the movie is not meant for adults.
Yeah,
it's meant for kids. Because
this is, I hear what you're saying, but to me that's not a thing. Like, this movie was definitely not made for kids. It was made to be kid friendly. Shazam comics are not for children. They're not like dark like Batman, but they're not made for little kids. Like, this movie, the whole movie was fine. It worked as a comedy. The ending of the movie was literally like I was watching Blue's Clues, and like I didn't know what the hell happened. I'm not saying it was bad, but it's definitely was overhyped. Aquaman was definitely better than Shazam.
Well, no, I agree. But
hands down.
Yeah, but I've got to chime in and say this: you're looking at it in the point of view that's when it comes to movies, they're definitely more we can't have things too dark when it comes to targeting towards kids. Because let me look at comic books. I remember the first comic book I ever picked up was the original issue of Ninja Turtles, and they literally killed Shredder. Spoiler alert, it's been years.
Yeah, how dark is Infinity War and Endgame? And that was probably mostly kids that went to see that movie.
But see, you have to also understand those were dark, but everything was still have that light point of view. And when you have Iron Man that's literally in metal, that's an adult, it's different than when you're dealing with a little kid that is in a very drastic situation.
Listen, I understand what you're saying, but you didn't have to go full Scooby-Doo. That doesn't make sense to me.
That's why I'm going Scooby-Doo, because that's the point we're making.
But I watched Scooby-Doo, and even Scooby-Oo is not as childish as the way that movie ended. Anyways, let's not talk about Shazam anymore. Let's talk about The Flash. I got nothing out of that panel. Next movie.
Yeah.
I got nothing out of The Flash. I'm not going to lie to you.
I mean, the only thing you got out of it was that Ben Affleck and Michael Keaton are going to play Batman.
Yeah, but we knew that a couple days before.
Well,
and
we're
got leaked out.
Fandom. Yeah,
that's fine. Okay, so what was the other movie? Because I know there's one that John wants to talk about. I see him down there thinking about The Rock's big chiseled arms.
Dwayne The Rock
Black
Johnson.
Adam. That little teaser thing was awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
That got me hyped.
Yeah. Outside of that whole thing just starting like he was about to sing In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, but before that and everything, I mean after that it was just amazing. You know what I mean? Just the presentation itself, like Comic-Con could have learned from that. You know what I mean? 100% Comic-Con could have learned from that presentation of him in the shadows standing there and just saying, this is going to happen. You know what I mean? Even though we really don't have anything to really give you, this is going to happen. And I'm here to say I'm here to play this character, and it's going to be epic. You know what I mean? And so we don't have really much to go on. That's the problem. But when it came to Black Adam, even with, like I said, with Shazam, The Flash, there wasn't much to go on because it felt like because they haven't made anything, they couldn't tell us anything. I mean, if that makes sense. So it kind of makes it hard. I mean, honestly, like I said, the movies we already talked about was on your panel, which is Wonder Woman, the Suicide Squad, and the Batman. So since we've talked about the bad, let's jump on the good. I mean, what do you guys want to go back? Is there anything that we might have missed from that last podcast that you want to mention as far as those?
I don't think anything about this whole DC fandom was bad except the weird amounts of filler.
Yeah.
Like,
yep.
What was the problem with going from Wonder Woman immediately to the next movie? Why did I need to watch 20 things about Patty Jenkins talking to fashion designers?
Or that stupid Plinko, or that what was it, memory game, or whatever.
Okay, but wait. I did enjoy the ridiculous Batman Beyond Kevin Conroy.
That was hilarious. Those
were the best parts.
Yeah.
Why do you
have stuff with the panel? playing this little games. I'm like, hey, I'm here just sitting, rolling my eyes.
Well,
like,
why do you have eyebrows painted onto your mask? Your cowl. It's not my cowl.
Exactly.
Well, you guys mentioned exactly. I actually did some pros and cons, and I did pros, like, for example, the movie trailer is always a pro. Visually engaging when it compares to anything else they've done so far, like Comic-Con, it was visually engaging as far as,
it was the best thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Celebrities, way more celebrities they had here than I felt like even at Comic-Con. And then the footage was nonstop. There was no break. So there was always something going on, whether it was cosplay or things like that. But then the cons, in my eyes, and again, you guys can tell me if you don't agree, too many filler panels, panels to fill in the spot. And they seem to drag on for a long period of time.
Some of them didn't even make sense. That's the problem that I had.
Yeah. And then I had people saying in the chat, and I agree with them, celebrities asking questions instead of the fans. This is called DC Fandome, not DC Celebrity Dome. All right? They had celebrities asking questions. I felt like those were spots that fans could ask questions, and they would have been, in my eyes, much crucial questions. And then, of course, there's the padding for the time, so it's a 24-hour show. That was one thing a lot of people complained about. They're like, wait, it actually ends at 9 p.m. my time? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, it's only 8 hours? I'm like, yeah. It said 24 hours. They were thinking, yeah, exactly. It was an encore. And then one other thing, and this was basically what the viewers brought up, and they felt the same way when I did my Comic-Con stream, politics. They felt like a lot too much of it when it comes to, when we're talking about comic books and movies, way too much politics came in so they can save face, not to look bad, I guess. Which I understand why DC and Comic-Con and all that, they don't want to look like the bad guy in the situation. But again, you are appealing to the comic book fans. So talking about politics or, things like that might be a social aspect, might be something they might get upset about. But at the same time, I try not to open up the windows on that. So if people feel like talking about it, that's why I leave it open. So were there any other pros or cons you guys felt I may not have covered or you may not agree with?
I feel like in terms of questions, I wish that it could have given more of a live, people going in with a live question, and make it more interactive instead of having Aisha Tyler read something from a bulletin board, whatever, or having let's like it says, a celebrity asking a question. Why not? It is supposed to be DC Fandom. Mm-hmm. It's meant for the fans. They should have had some kind of live feed, so people asking questions, not some pre-recorded stuff. I thought that would have been more. That's engaging.
One of my biggest complaints was you're a huge monster company hosting this huge, massive event. First of all, the green screens looked absolutely terrible. Yeah. Like when Aisha Tyler was standing there. Second of all, that stuff was so pre-recorded. That stuff has probably been recorded for like a month, and they've just been sitting on it. Well, and it's like, it would have been cooler a little bit if it was live. Like, I feel like none of those webcam things were live. That's all been filmed.
I can't think of her name right on top of the moment. The girl, the lady that's on Community that did the
Yvette Brown.
Yeah, Nicole
Yvette Brown. Yeah.
She actually did a Comic-Con panel where she was actually talking about the 50th anniversary or something like that, or 60th anniversary of Bugs Bunny, and she was talking to people at Warner Brothers. That's the same outfit she was wearing at Comic-Con in the same video. That literally is her doing the Comic-Con panel thing, and then she went and did the DC Fandom the same day. Oh, well, literally, it was the same one. When I saw that, I was like, wait, that's the same?
That was a little bit disappointing. I'm not like...
Yeah. Upset. When you hear that, it's kind of, you think, oh, so that's when I knew no matter what, this was pre-recorded even before Comic-Con. And that's sad to say, but at least the difference is with the Comic-Con, they didn't give us that green screen stuff. Even though Comic-Con, it wasn't that good, having the fillers of the Jim Lee art and everything is way better than just having nothing. You know what I mean? I think.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's what I feel with the pros or cons. Now, I know we went through the movies, the games. I know we had Jim Lee. He also did like some art and talked about, it wasn't much comic book discussion, I don't feel. But I know we've covered a lot when it comes to the movies. I personally liked Wonder Woman 1984. Campo, I think you said you didn't like the trailer too much or anything like that. Am I right?
Which one? Wonder Woman?
Yeah, Wonder Woman, yeah.
I don't like it. I feel like it's just a strange trailer.
Yeah.
Like, they were just like exactly what you said. They keep pushing it back, so they had to put some more footage in it. But I feel like the footage you put was just like, here's a blurry shot of someone jumping. Here's another blurry shot of someone jumping. Here's a bunch of CGI.
But stuff we've already seen already.
Yeah,
I mean, there's not much you could do because of the whole thing we're going through right now. But
Yeah.
It's a lot of the stuff is just we've seen it already. I don't see a purpose to even show anything more.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, without spoiling it. I mean,
yeah,
just rehashing the same things over and over. I don't know.
And see, we also agreed when it comes to the other podcasts, which again I will link in the description below, and I'll leave it at the end of this video. That when it came to both the Suicide Squad, we loved it. We're a little bit, I think everyone agrees with me. We're a little bit worried about so many characters, but we still love the idea. But hands down, the biggest thing of the night, which they left for the end of the night, was the Batman. The Batman just looks so beautiful, and or no, not beautiful, just it looks good. You know what I mean? It looks like what we're wanting when it comes to a new Batman film that's different, but still has the grittiness and has things that we're looking forward to as far as like the Penguin, the Riddler, things of that nature. So is there anything that we might have missed as far as the Batman that you guys want to capitalize on, or do you still want to talk about it, or, you know?
I literally liked it again.
Yeah.
I think the shot of him when he's like riding his shooting
Grappling
thing.
Grappling hook.
Yeah. Ride the tiger. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I hope there's more stuff like that in the movie. Other than that, no, I think I'm good for DC Fandom.
How about yourself, John?
I would like to see more of the Batcave. I mean, it's a year to. I mean, every single Batman movie we've seen a decked out Batcave. This is a year 2 Batman. He's only been in this for 2 years or however long he's been in it. I want to see what a year 2 Batcave looks like.
Yeah, right.
Does he have can he fit a Batmobile in there? Can he fit a lot of other stuff in there? I mean, does he have more bat suits?
Can you have a party in there?
Exactly.
As Bruce Wayne, yeah, and that was the other thing I noticed they didn't touch on. What's the you know Bruce Wayne's always had money because of his family. So what's his not just political, but what's his life as far as Bruce Wayne? Like is Wayne Enterprises like a big company?
Why you just opened a door? You just opened a door. You didn't want to open this door.
Opened it.
This is my theory. His parents, and I other people said this too, but his parents, I think, are going to be part of the corruption of Gotham, and he's going to be having as well as dealing with the fact that they died in like his darkness, he's going to have to deal with the fact that his family is like now disgraced because they find out all of this. So Bruce Wayne is like kind of like a disgraced billionaire that's still like controlling the city with all of his power, but nobody likes him.
But I'm throwing a chink in there. If his parents are corrupt, wouldn't they still own Wayne Enterprises and he wouldn't have the money to be able to do all that?
No, they're dead.
Oh, so you are saying that's dead? Okay.
Yeah, I'm saying that his family was exposed as part of the corruption of Gotham City before they got killed.
What a twist!
I can see something that happening because it looks like he's really dealing with something, and it's not. I'm tired of the parent aspect. Like, I get it. Your parents died 20 times now.
Yeah, I feel like that particular moment has been done so many times. You get it. His parents got shot. Whatever. Move on. Just give us something else. You don't need to do it again.
It's the same thing with Spider-Man. Look at Spider-Man. It was always the whole thing with.
I cannot watch Uncle Ben die another time. Uncle Ben's entire purpose, his entire character arc, is to say one sentence to Peter and then die.
Can we just think of another world where both Batman and Spider-Man have both their Uncle Ben and his parents in heaven or wherever it might be, and they're like, okay, are you just as tired of this as I am?
I want to watch a crossover, a gay love story between Spider-Man and Batman, and if you're gonna do something different, like do it different. I don't want to just see Uncle Ben's alive. No, I want to see like Peter Parker's dealing with some emotional problems because he's coming out. So give me a real story.
So basically, Batman and Spider-Man both have a connection because of something they love that was a guidance in their life dies. And then, of course, they both have dark and brooding characters as far as a spider and a bat. And they both say, you know what? There's just so much in common between us. And he does. Okay, you know what? I better not go that way. I better shut
No,
up.
but like,
listen
to me. But listen to me. I was really being serious.
Oh,
like,
were you really?
I'm okay with it. If you can take that story and you can make it good, go do something different. I don't need the same thing. Like Spider-Verse completely went in a different direction with Spider-Man, and it works so good.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Right, and it's like I like where they're going with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, because they're not about his backstory. They're about what's happening to his problems in high school, kind of, right? And it's like, I'm okay with it. I don't want to see Batman's parents die again and then watch you have sex with beautiful women and complain about your life in your huge mansion while you beat up people for a living. Like,
well, John, I think you just set up my podcast for next week, because I was a huge fan of the Marvel and DC, aka DC and Marvel. No, I'm just saying, I would like the whole idea of Marvel versus DC when they did the comics back in the day. I don't know if you guys read them or anything like that, but they were amazing comics wise. And that's something we can actually do. I think maybe next podcast we should do something about crossovers. I think that would be a great idea if you guys.
All right, I'm good with that. I just got to say one more thing.
Okay.
This is the last thing I want to say. Okay.
Yeah, I want to wrap this up. So, guys, if there's any, please add anything else when it comes to.
This is the only thing I want to say. My dream is to get a big burly looking Batman, preferably not Ben Affleck, preferably a no-name person, and just dub his voice with Kevin Conroy. That's all I want.
Gerard Butler.
Yeah, just Kevin You don't get to talk though. It's Kevin Conroy's actually Batman.
Obviously, yeah.
I'm gonna have to send you a video, John. They've kind of actually Conroy did that, but you might not realize that they made a fan be on. No, you can.
He's the best Batman.
But anyway,
unless Nuno asks, then he's.
But we kind of got off track when it came to DC Fandom on that one. So, is there anything else before we go and shut this down that you guys wanted to add when it comes to the whole show or anything like that?
Not anything that I can think of.
Okay.
I do. Subscribe to John's stuff. It'll be down somewhere in the bottom.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna put links to everything at the bottom and everything. But I guess if we don't have anything there, again, I as a whole, when it came to, if you compare it to Comic-Con or anything else, it was decent. There was a lot of surprises and excitement. I think it was way more successful than any other con as far as online con, if you want to look at it that way. We didn't get E3, we didn't get PAX, but we did get some stuff like this, and maybe Marvel will go do something as well, but DC was pretty smart about doing this. As far as there were a lot of fillers, but when it comes to the good stuff, it was good. So that's how I feel and everything. And I think everything turned out pretty good. So, guys, that's it. If you guys want to see any more of the DC Fandom, I will also put a link to the actual live streams I did. There's 8 hours of complete bliss if you want to go watch it, and you can find any panel you want on those. Guys, if you want to go ahead and plug your social medias.
Yeah, 8 hours, the same length as this podcast. Yeah, follow me, Campo.reviews on Instagram, RLG2 on YouTube, RLG main channel. I don't know. Yeah, just a little like me.
I know you want to be liked. All right, how much so, John?
At Johnny the Grimm, pretty much anything that is out there. Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube.
So I can find you with everything Johnny the Grimm, right?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. So make sure you guys look that up, and I'll put links to all the social medias where you might want to find them, anything about that. And guys, I appreciate it. I think this was awesome. Hopefully we can get you guys in for next week for something different, and we'll keep in touch. And as for you guys, thanks for watching. And as always, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button. And as always, I'm Puttyman with Gamer Potheads. And do not forget, we're all about the high score. Peace out, and I'll talk to you all later.
Thanks.